I'm going to show you how to make a really quick practice probe in enCASE and also how to schedule it. So going to enCASE, which looks like the spinner, logs you in. Here's your dashboard. If you do not see these choices at the top, go to the far right and you'll have 3 lines and click on that, and it gives you a drop down menu with those same choices. So to make an assessment, I'm going to go to assessment and classroom because that's what we're making. I'm going to click on create a new assessment. Going to choose my subject, my core, which is going to be Tennessee State Standards for us, and then my grade level that I'm making the quiz for, and then I'm going to choose my standard. I can choose a group of standards like all the OA standards, but because this is just going to be a short practice probe, I haven't made any practice probes for fractions yet, so I'm going to go ahead and click. I made one, so I'm going to go ahead and click for NFA2. I'm going to leave everything else the same and just show you what happens when you click on load items. When I look at for NFA2, we're going to use our naming convention that we have previously used. So for.nf.a.2 underscore, and because I'm district, I'm going to put BTCS underscore TE. You will use your school initials here, like HAY for Haynesfield, HV for Holston View, whatever there. You can subtitle it if you want to put a little subtitle that you know this is like maybe if it's comparing fractions or equivalent fractions, whatever it is. You want to keep your difficulty level at 2.5. So we're going to shoot for 2.5 difficulty level, and that will populate as we add questions. Here you'll notice that you can add a basic or scientific calculator. Of course, if you're in through grade 5, 3 through 5, you'll add the basic calculator. But we don't need that for now. And then you'll see that there are 157 matches. So there's all these different questions, and you can see information about the questions as you look through them. You'll see the depth of knowledge level, the difficulty level, and what bank it's from, what standard. So I like to keep my difficulty level to 2.5, and the easiest way for me to do that is to filter those by difficulty level. So I'm going to look at the level 1 questions first, which are that should be the easiest questions for students. And I see that there are 11 matches, and I can view that question by clicking there on the hyperlink. And this is comparing which is true, and it gives them some options. If I want to see the answer, I can click Show Answer. If I don't like that question, I can click Next and look at something else. I prefer, since this is a level 1 question, I want students to see a model. I always like to use models. So I'm going to choose this question, and I add it to my test by clicking Add Item. That's all the level 1 items I want because I'm just doing a 4-question practice probe. So I'm going to go to level 2 items, click on Load Items. I'm going to click just on one of the questions in here. Roy and Josh practice playing guitar. Roy practiced for a longer time than Josh. Josh practiced for half an hour. So you're looking for a fraction that's greater than half an hour. And you can see the answer there if you choose to answer it that way. I like that question. I like the way it's worded. I'm going to add that question. So now my difficulty level has gone up to a 1.5. You can see. I'm going to find me a level 3 question here. Load those items. There are 44 matches. I'm just going to click on this one right here. Which expression compares 3/4 and 5/6 correctly using a common denominator? So that's a more advanced way to compare fractions there than just the benchmark fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and add that one. That one's just fine. And then my difficulty level changes to a level 2. So if there are any level 4 questions, let's check that out. And there are 9 matches. You'll notice on these, for instance, there's an A-B. So this is a part A and a part B, part A and B. So I don't want to put a part A and B. I just want to use one question for this probe. So I'm going to look at it. Okay, it's a reasoning question. You have a little table to read there and more complexity, so that's why it's a level 4, and I'm going to add this item. So I'm finished adding the item. So I can save the changes, or I can save the changes in preview. So when I preview it, it's going to pop up just like it would for students. You also see the option to read aloud.
Which model represents 2/3 equals 4/6?
Okay, so there's that option there, and I can go ahead and look through the 4 questions. Okay, I'm finished looking for those questions, and I'm happy with it. So I can X out there, and it takes me back to the tab where I created it. Well, it's already created, so what I want to do is go to my classroom, quizzes, and I'm going to do a drop-down menu to get to math, and then remember that naming convention. So 4NF.A2, and I can search, and it pops that quiz right back up there. Another option is I can filter by author. So you can see that I created that one. And if I don't know the title, this is what happens, just so you know. It shows every quiz created in math for all grade levels. So I can filter by my name, and that shows all the quizzes I've created, which is a lot. So that's why it's important to kind of remember your title and use a common naming convention so that you can find what you're looking for. Makes it a whole lot easier to find it by standard. So let me explain the options you have here. You have edit assessment. So if you wanted to choose this assessment and you're like, well, I really want to go ahead and add more questions to it, you can click on edit the assessment, and at the bottom you would say, after it comes up and spins around here for a second, at the bottom you would create the copy. You don't want to change another teacher's assessment because they made it and they like it the way they made it. So you can use it though and then say create a copy. So I really don't want to do that. I don't want to change it, but that's just that option, and that's what it is. So there you go. I'm going to go back. And the next option you have is to just delete it if you don't like it. Make sure to only delete your own. You can print the assessment. Now when you print the assessment, it pops up in a new window. You have them label the answer choices as the default. You can change the font size and make it greater, and then you can print the assessment. You can print it to a PDF or print it straight to your printer. What you need to be aware of is if you have used a technology enhanced item, which I really didn't for this quiz, but if I had a drop down menu or drag and drop, something like that, then I wouldn't want to print that assessment and you'll get a warning that it's not a printable assessment. The next icon here is a little I, and that prints the answer key for your assessment, which has a lot of information about the standards that it is aligned to and the answer choice for you if you need that, and you can change the size and also print to a PDF or to your computer. The next one is your preview button, and you've already seen what the preview looks like. The last one is your schedule button. So I'm going to go ahead and click to schedule. This is where sometimes people get a little bit lost on this because it's really it's not hard, but there's steps to it. So I have all the schools here. If you're scheduling from your dashboard, you probably should just have your school. But I'm going to say that I'm going to assign this to Avoca Elementary. I could click more schools, which is what I would do if it was a common unit assessment. And so now that I've selected the school, so everything I've selected comes over here in this green box. I'm selecting this specific practice probe, I'm selecting this school, and then I will need to go to my drop down menu, select Avoca, and you'll see everything. See bands there, everything. Then I would select my grade level. So that makes it 4th grade, but you still see anybody who has 4th grade. And so now I need to go ahead and select math. Alright, so now I can see that this is just Laura Carrier's math classes here. And so I'm going to add, and add Laura's 4th grade math classes. And you'll see that they populate down here. So there they are. Then I will enter my start date. If I want to see the quiz actually come up today, today's the 15th of September, I'll click on that. And maybe I want them to have 2 weeks to take it, I'll click there. So then what I would do is save that. So save the changes. I'm not going to go ahead and schedule this for Laura's class, so I'm going to leave that open, that option open. So just kind of review that. I've already selected the quiz and selected the little calendar icon. Then I click on the school I want to add here, which for you it should only be your school if you're a teacher. Then I select that school in the drop-down menu, select the appropriate grade and the subject math. I add any classroom that has my classes of choice over here. She has 3 different math classes there, so I click that. They populate down here. Again, the green box tells me what I'm populating. And then I schedule my time. Notice it's available from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. You might want to put a specific class time if you wanted to do that. But that's how you schedule a quiz. Now, when your students go to take that quiz, they will go to enCASE, click on the icon, it will automatically log them in, and they will see the quizzes that have been scheduled for them as they are available, and they will click on the quiz and start. It's very important to have your students submit the quiz, otherwise you won't see their results. All right, please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to help you. We can jump on a Teams call, or I'll make you another video, or whatever I need to do to help you answer questions. Thank you.